Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. It is Wednesday, and that means someone has told me that it's time for Six&Twenty Metropolis. I think that someone was Johnny, despite whatever he's doing, having a seizure, I assume? Yes, for sure. So we're here. We're back. There we have signs. We're picketing something. I don't know what's happening right now. We haven't been here in 2 weeks, and it's insanity. But we're back. We're on an island. There's lava. I don't know what's happening. I think Scratch is dead, possibly. Someone's going to fall in lava today, guaranteed. And with that, let's jump around and introduce our cast and crew and play some City of Mist. Let's start with Johnny. Johnny, who are you? What are you doing here? Where can we find you on the internet? And that's it. That's all I got for you.
I forgot about the lava. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
okay,
lava.
anyways, I'm Johnny. I'm the GM for Six&Twenty. We do this thing 3 times a week. They can find me everywhere at Video Store Cowboy, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, except for Twitter, because thank you, Twitter, for that 15-character limit, so it's Vid Store Cowboy. Other than that, you can find me here on Wednesdays, Tuesdays on my channel, Thursdays someplace else, and you guys are fucked tonight. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, we all assumed as much, I think.
The only one that's safe is Scratch. I'm just letting you know that.
Sweet.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. Man, you can't say fuck as one of your last verbs and then expect me to transition into something, because it's always going to be inappropriate. Speaking of fuck, Frags, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And who are you playing today? Speaking of fucking.
Hey!
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking.
Yep, that's literally every time someone introduces me. That's usually the same thing. I'm Kennedy Franks. You can find me on the Discord. You can find me on Twitch sometimes. And yeah, I'm playing Scratch. Right now, Scratch is a sleepy boy. He drank sleepy juice and went to sleepy time.
Those are all accurate.
Yeah. Yep. And
Sweet.
yeah, so fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of fucking, Sam, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and who are you playing today?
I'm Sam, twitch.tv/WizardFool, Twitter @TheWizardFool. I'm playing JP. I don't remember anything that happened last time. I'm not gonna lie. I hope we did good.
You fell into some lava.
That sounds like me. And by me, I mean JP. Always in the worst possible situation to start every episode. And to end every episode, which is kind of how that works. So fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of fucking, Mr. Ninja, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And who are you fucking playing today?
I'm Xmas Ginger Ninja. I'm going to be reprising my role as Flora. And she's not worried about the lava. She's real mad at these idiots keep drinking this stuff, but other than that, she's ready.
I mean,
And maybe her husband's on her way, who knows?
only one of us drank it.
Sam almost did.
No, Malcolm was.
JP.
Oh,
I
think
almost
think we
did
all
because
almost
no
did.
one else had any ideas for how to progress the story, and neither did I. And so I was like, well, if everyone's just gonna stand around doing nothing, I'm
You
gonna
really
drink
thought about
this.
it.
That's true.
I wasn't standing around doing nothing. I was laying down and doing nothing.
Drinking, doing nothing.
I also, as Mad Rogue points out in chat, I was kind of a little bit tempted to do it just because I wanted to see if JP could take it.
Speaking of fucking,
I was just about to say
with that, guys, I will remind you of all the ways you can interact with the show. If you look along the bottom of the screen, you will see the follows, the retweets, the subscribes. Anytime we hit those goals, something awesome will happen to one of the characters on screen, to all of the characters on screen, rather. If you look down below the stream, there's a donation section where you can donate for Nat 1s, Nat 20s, NPCs, items, all kinds of cool, fun stuff that can torture us and or Johnny. And if your name is Al, and only if your name is Al, you can donate for stupid Al crits. Shut up, Johnny. Shut up.
Al crits are available
No,
to
they're-
everybody
no, they're
for
not.
double the cost.
No, they're not.
For
Okay.
double the cost. They're
for
available
double the
for
cost.
everybody.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll buy that for $10.
See, owl crits are beautiful things, man. They add so much fucking bullshit. They have provided some of the best drama in this fucking game ever. Why you haven't trademarked them and fucking marketed something called owl crits? I just don't get.
They're fucking terrible. And with that nonsense.
The only time I've used one, it succeeded, I'm pretty sure, so I'm
That's
okay
true.
with it.
That's
John.
the great part. You are the only person who
I
had
have
this.
one left, too.
Johnny,
Ooh. No.
take us into the
We were
city
talking
list.
We were talking about. Fine. Gosh. You never let me do anything.
Goddamn right. Magical boys
Okay.
run this show.
Yeah, it's your fault my internet doesn't work either, remember?
Mhm.
All right. Previously on 6&Twenty Metropolis, you guys were on a pirate ship. It wasn't originally a pirate ship, but Malcolm made it a pirate ship because he made you all pirates. Because he gave you pirate garb as you were fighting a kraken. And there was a bunch of shenanigans going on, and the ship was going down because JP had punched his way through the bottom of the ship trying to hit the kraken, and instead hit ship. So the battle ensued with you and the kraken, and eventually you were all successful in vanquishing it enough to be able to make your way to the island. And once arriving upon the island, what you found was a pedestal with a cup sitting on top of it, and a young boy by the name of Gideon sleeping behind the pedestal. Gideon, the lost boy who had disappeared during the events of Samuel's little game from Malcolm, had disappeared differently to the island, and when you found him, he was sleeping as if dreaming, unsure of what exactly to do. JP had decided to jump really high up into the air to figure out what the layout of the land was, and discovered that there was a cave at the base of the mountain that dominated the rest of the island. While that was going on, Scratch decided to take a drink from the cup and went to Dreamland. Leaving Scratch, or grabbing Scratch and Gideon, JP, Flora, and Malcolm decided to make their way to the cave, where they ran into a series of traps. First one was an Indiana Jones style boulder. The second was a classic video game style jumping across some pylons and dealing with some lava, for which finally you found yourself in a room where there was a beautiful lagoon spread out before you, things moving in the water, and a pirate ship on the far side of the cavern. Meanwhile, in Scratch's dream, he traveled back through the ages to an older time, going from modern day to what appeared to be, hey, let's not talk about that, to what appeared to be sort of an Old West type of setting. And that's where we kind of focus in, as he was encountering Samuel, asking him if he wanted to play a game. So, Scratch, let me reset the room for you.
Okay.
So the back room of the Crossroads now looks a lot more wooden and dingy. There are oil lamps all around the room, lit. There is a sort of a rudimentary sort of wooden card table in front of you, with a series of chips just laid out all around it, and a deck of cards. Around the table is a number of individuals that you recognize, but who are dressed in more of a sort of a gambler kind of garb, and sitting across from you is Samuel, dressed as the classic sort of southern gambler that you would find on a riverboat. And he looks at you and he says, "Shall we play a game?"
Just trying to figure out if Scratch is gonna know that this isn't right, or if he's just gonna play along.
Well, so what do you think? What do you think would help him figure that out? Just out of curiosity.
I'm playing along, obviously, but he knows. What's the game?
Why, Scratch? It's one of your favorites. You know, I'm pretty partial to Go Fish, or occasionally a little Old Maid. I'm feeling pretty particular today. How about a little Crazy Eights?
Okay, Scratch doesn't play that game. Frax doesn't know how to play that game. Scratch doesn't know how to play that game. All right, you GM.
All right, Scratch. So, what brings you back to the crossroads again?
Again, what year is it? You know, Sammy just looking for a little work. Same as always.
Samuel kind of looks at you funny. You know, this is a dream, and I'm fully aware of that. You're not looking for work. What do you really want?
All right, well, the fact that you know this is a dream and I know this is a dream, that changes things. What was in that drink, Sammy?
Your worst nightmare.
Is he gonna look around?
Standing in the corner is a shadow in the shape of a familiar figure you can't quite place. Shimmers a little bit of electric blue, though. And when he looks back at you as you're looking at it, you see a smile creep across where its face would be, and you can see some gleaming white teeth.
What you doing here, Sammy?
It's your dream. I'm just here to enjoy myself.
It's my dream. Oh. Can my mic be turned up? I don't know.
Speak up.
Okay.
Speak up.
Yeah, I'm not speaking straight at the mic. To test to see if this is a dream, he's gonna pick up the glass in front of him.
Okay.
And he's gonna think about something soft and just squeeze the crap out of the glass.
When did the jet engine start?
Just a second ago when I unmuted. It was good the whole time, but I muted and unmuted.
Okay. Roll me a... Okay, so... My inclination here is to have you roll a face danger, but I feel like this is more of a take a risk. What's Scratch feeling?
Scratch is feeling like he hopes this damn glass turns into a marshmallow, but...
Well, okay. Well, so I'm just wondering. What I'm trying to get to is like, what is the intent here? Is your intent to?
I'm taking a risk. I'm seeing how much control I have over the situation, over the dream.
Perfect. So take a risk and tell me what your power tags are.
Lucid dreaming.
Do you have a lucid dreaming
No.
power tag? I'll be like, I don't remember that as being a part of your powers.
It was not. And I really didn't expect him to do half of the shit you got me doing.
That's the beautiful thing. If you can justify any of it, it works.
I know. And
There's no such thing as specs in this game. There's just bullshit.
I know. I'm just saying, like how I have these pictured in my mind to work for certain things. Like I really can't. I really.
Here, let me pull up your character sheet again just to make sure.
I'm looking at all these really like how do you get crowd work to work for this? How do you get Gift of Gab approachable?
Gift of Gab actually kind of applies here, right? Because you're able to kind of influence the situation with whatever story you could convey us, or talk Samuel into whatever.
That's why you the smart one, Johnny.
Hey man, you just create the character. Yeah. Burning Lies also might be able to apply.
Yeah, but Burning Lies applies to a person. Like it has to be.
But does it?
Well, so I think a Gift of Gab is a really awesome one. I think that Go to 11 is a great example here because you're turning up the intensity of what it is that you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I see because in my mind when I created that one was the hurt your ears thing. So.
Well, sure, there's that, but it's all. I think it's more than just. I think it's more than to me that implies maybe the power intensity.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not interpreting these right. Like I had a set thing in my head for what these meant, but I'm just too inside the box.
Yeah, man. As Sam said, it's all bullshit. I think outside the box.
Okay. I'll do the go.
Okay. Whoa. Sorry.
It has my power at 1. You know, I have 2.
Do you have a weakness tag enabled or something else?
I totally clicked to burn the go to 11 instead of I guess 2 power to 9.
Yep, no worries.
Or 10.
So a 9. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you want me to roll it again? Because
So we're gonna because it would be a power tag of 2. It would actually be a 10. So go ahead and call it a great success. Tell me what happens, and describe it in detail.
Okay, he's gonna grab this glass. It's like a highball glass, right?
Right.
And he's looking at it. And he's just gonna close his eyes. And he's thinking about hard stars and horseshoes, clovers and blue moons. He's thinking about s'mores. He's thinking about soft, squishy marshmallow innards of weird chocolate eggs, and he just squeezes and he opens his hand, and it's not a glass anymore. It's about coffee mug size giant marshmallow that he's got like most of his like second knuckle deep in all the way around. And he's gonna look at it, okay, and just kind of throw it at Sam.
Samuel grabs it out of the air, takes a big old chunk out of it, kind of chews on it a bit, slaps it on the table. So we game.
So what? I'm sorry, I really.
So we game. We good. We playing this game.
Yeah. Yeah, we
and he starts to shuffle. Starts to shuffle the cards and said, "Okay, let's begin." And we're going to cut to Malcolm, JP, and Flora. Standing in front of you is the lagoon. It's a big, large cavern, sort of, almost like a hangar-size cavern. Actually, for Malcolm, it would feel very comfortable because it's about the size of the warehouse that he lives in, sort of unfilled with, various boxes and contraptions and everything else. It's very open. On the far side, of course, is a pirate ship that to Malcolm looks vaguely familiar, as it does to Flora. there is a lagoon with sort of like shimmering light coming up from below the water. And occasionally you can see things sort of moving in between the lights, shifting and shadowing. And the ledge just sort of leads you up to the edge of the lagoon, and there's no obvious way across.
I think Flora would immediately turn to JP and just point at her bag. Remember the picture I showed you? And she's just going to look over at the ship and look back to him.
Is that a pirate ship?
Looks like it.
So we have a ship. We just gotta get out of the cave.
I know you can fly. How am I supposed to get across?
Float? It's just water.
I could carry you.
You're carrying 2 people. Currently.
I could carry lots of people.
There's just a pile of people on the
How
set.
far can your dog jump?
He's wood. He floats too. We all float down here, George.
No, I knew you were gonna do that. You're gonna ruin the dog for me. Stop. I think she's gonna. She just kind of looks over at him, and she's like staring at the water and just petting their back.
Don't you want your boat?
Don't you want your bone?
Stop.
Wait. Time out for a second. What's wrong? What's going on here, Jen?
It.
Do you not
What
know?
about it? I love that
Fucking
movie.
creepy.
Yeah, she
Yes, it's great.
She hates it.
It's the first horror movie I ever watched as a child. I was 3.
She hates it. She
That's
hates
way
why-
too young to watch.
That's why I
that
like
movie.
horror movies, but also I'm still scarred.
Yeah.
That's way too young to watch that movie.
My brother does that a lot to me. Anyway, I don't like
Thanks,
clowns.
guys. I
Anyway.
now have fuel for the next thing I want to do to Flora.
Oh no!
The
So Flora,
pirate ship blew down
jump
here.
on that doggy's back and go. Fuck it.
Don't you want to float?
Yes.
Beep,
All right.
beep, Gingy.
How do you kick someone out of their own fucking call?
How do you end someone else's stream?
Just
What's that? Oh man. Yeah, so there's no way out of this cave, right? There's no. It's just a massive cave. Is there anywhere on the other? Does the cave go on, or do we just see a massive cavern and that's it? It's just like a.
You see no obvious exit. You see
Okay.
a massive cavern, and you see the ship across the way.
Okay.
This is very much just like the final setting in Goonies.
Like One Eye Willie's,
Wait,
yeah.
how does I was just about to say that? How's the current look?
There are a couple of waterfalls feeding it, but otherwise the pool just sort of looks like there's a gentle sort of wave or ripple effect going on, but there's no obvious current.
I mean, I can't drown. She's just gonna start walking. And
To
she'll,
where?
She's gonna cross in the water towards the ship.
Okay, so there's a ledge. I'm sorry. There's a ledge, and there's a pathway that sort of leads down to the water.
Yeah.
Do you walk down towards the water itself?
Yeah.
Okay. What do the rest of you do?
So we're going to the boat, right?
Sleep.
Yep. I guess we'll just go over there then.
Okay.
How do you go? How are you getting over there? JP?
I hop.
Okay.
And Malcolm flies over.
Okay. So we're gonna start with Flora. All right. As you make your way towards the water, you just really don't see anything, and Sarah, Barry, and Gus just kind of are, walking along with you. The minute that you take a step into the water, the lights sort of diminish. The glowing sort of radiance that's coming from under the water sort of diminishes just around you in a large sort of outward motion of like just kind of spreading out. And for Malcolm and JP is just as you're about to take your step, and Malcolm as you're leaping up and getting ready to float over, you notice that the entire lagoon goes dark.
Flora's gonna take one step and go, "You guys think I broke it?" And she just looks over to the dogs.
Yeah, you definitely broke it.
She would look up and just to the rest of the crew. And then she's gonna keep going anyway.
Okay. As you begin to move forward, you begin to feel things as you get deeper and deeper into the water. At one point, it comes waist high on you, as you're probably a good 20 feet out. Sarah, Barry, and Gus, their body is immersed, but their head is way above the water still, right? So it's coming up halfway on them since they're a pretty large animal. And as you're kind of, you're making your way through, you start to feel things kind of slithering around your legs, moving very quickly past you. And Sarah, Barry, and Gus are starting to snap at the water, missing things, but they're definitely snapping at something. All right. So we're going to cut to JP. You see Flora just kind of this all this sort of motion happening around her. You can sort of see it in the water, but there's no illumination, so it's much harder to make out what's actually happening. But she's making her way into the water. How do you want to make this jump with two people? Is it just the kind of thing where it's like a normal jump, or are you planning not to overexert yourself? Are you being cautious in any particular way? What is it about this particular jump?
I feel like this is not like this doesn't strike JP as a very difficult jump compared to some of this. Like, I literally jumped off a building holding a bus once, so like he's probably not gonna like really worry about it too much.
Right.
Yeah, so I just kind of hop over.
All right. Take a risk.
Alrighty. I've got high flying leaps, supernatural strength. I don't really know what the situation is. Does Defiant charge? Oh, or actually, you know what? One man army, because I'm carrying two people on my back. It seems.
So you are carrying two people on your back. The question is that do you really count as a one-man army when you have Flora and
Fair.
Yeah, Malcolm there.
Fair.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, he's the only man. Malcolm's a child, Flora's a woman.
That's true. Very clever phrasing. No, that's not no. Acrobatics.
Okay.
And that's probably enough.
Okay. Two things against you. Two story tags. One is low ceiling.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the second is darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, sure. Start that shit up. I see what you're doing there.
I've come to jump in you again.
Man, that makes me not that in that good of shape for this.
You still have like 5. I mean, you still have like 3 left, right?
No, I'm +1 to this roll.
I thought you said you mentioned 5 power tags.
Oh, I didn't think I could use Defiant Charge or One Man Army.
So you can't use one-man army because that makes sense, but Defiant Charge definitely makes sense in this particular
so
case.
+2. That's okay. We can deal with that.
Are you sure?
No, we can't.
Mild success. Okay. So you take the jump and you begin to soar and sail. Immediately for around you hear psh, 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 as if something is breaking the water, but you can't see what's going on because of the darkness and the confusion. The jumping sort of back and forth, JP, as you're sailing through the air, you feel things kind of slide across you, like they're slimy and slippery, but you really don't get a sense of what it is because it's so dark in here, but you are continuing to sail through as if nothing is affecting you. You just feel it kind of bouncing off until something jars one of your arms and you drop Scratch into the lagoon.
Bye, Scratch.
Motherfucker!
And so for Flora, what she hears is this big splash in front of her, some distance ahead before where the ship is. Go ahead, JP. I'm sorry.
Do they smell like fish?
Yes, there is a fishy smell to it. Something's fishy about this.
I'm gonna bet they're fish.
You're gonna bet they're fish?
Good guess.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty hard sell for me. I don't know if that's really what's going on here, but all right. So JP, what were you aiming for when you landed?
The boat.
Okay. So when you land on the deck, you actually land really softly. And immediately you kind of look around as you've got Gideon under your other arm. You're looking around, and the deck is really clear. There's nothing on it whatsoever. And just, a good 30 feet off the deck of the ship, you can see Scratch's body sort of floating there, and there are things sort of coalescing and moving around him.
Oh, he's probably gonna die. Where are Flora and Malcolm?
I'm trying to get across the water. He just dropped right in front of me.
Malcolm is waiting for his turn. That's it.
Malcolm is waiting for his time because as he begins to fly, that's when JP takes the leap, and we'll be able to resolve that as well. So,
Okay.
I can't leave the kid by himself, and I'm really bad at swimming.
but you're great at walking. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Got the kid.
I mean, I think if Malcolm sees Scratch fall, he's going to go try to get him. Right?
I don't know. Is that what Malcolm would do?
Yeah, especially like JP's mid leap drops the guy. I think Malcolm was going across anyway. I think he would definitely attempt to either swoop in and grab him because he's carried JP before down. He's slowly let JP fall before. So I think he'd either try to swoop in and grab Scratch or pull him out of the water if he wasn't fast enough.
Okay, so JP gets to the other side. Malcolm, you're beginning to fly over, and you see some motion kind of around JP, like the kind of like shadows kind of fall across him, and then you see Scratch's body fall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna fly over there. I'm gonna use flight. Actually, what am I doing here? Am I rolling something for you?
I don't know what you're doing here. I'm
scooping up Scratch.
Okay, so you have helped JP fall before, gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
So in this particular case, Malcolm hasn't really picked up somebody of Scratch's size and carried them, has he? It's always been somebody his size or smaller.
No, he jumped with, it's been smaller people, and he jumped with, or I guess JP jumped with him out of the window, and then JP started falling, and Malcolm descended with them to a building. So he's never picked someone up and then back up.
Scratch ate a light breakfast.
Okay.
You were basically Woody and fucking Buzz. You were falling with style.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what was going on there. So you're actually trying to pick somebody up this time, which is a little bit different.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that definitely is take a risk.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to use flight, and man, I'm going to use flight, bangarang, because this looks cool, and I think I'm going to use home is where you make it, because he's a friend, and he's about saving his friends.
Okay. So there are two story tags not in your favor here.
Okay.
One is darkness.
Okay.
And the other is nightmares.
Okay. Dope. All right, cool. And I'm going to take a risk. Ka-chow! That's a real bad roll, guys. I don't know if you know that. That's one of the lowest
You
rolls.
never roll bad.
That's one of the lowest rolls you can get in the game.
But it's not the lowest.
No, it's one higher than the lowest.
Yeah. That's math.
Yeah.
Can whatever happens to him distract those things by my feet away from me?
Wait a minute. That is, you did get a crit fail on both of them.
Yeah, there's no crit fail in City Mist, though.
I know,
Oh, no,
but
that is the worst you could roll.
Yeah.
that is the worst you can roll.
Yeah.
Even with a plus, that's still the worst you can roll.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That was like the worst.
Yeah,
You cannot roll lower than 2-1.
that's true. That's accurate.
There's no 0 on the 6-sided die.
Yeah.
Guys, you are rubbing
Really?
it in so
The only thing worse is if I had
Guys,
no.
you're a failure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but
The only thing worse is if I had no power tags.
Or negative. You could theoretically have negative.
I don't know that you can, but that would also be terrible. Not about
Well, you can have never negative power tags, which would definitely bring you below, but you did technically roll the worst roll
I
ever.
did, yeah. That might be the worst roll in the history of 6/20 Metropolis.
No.
I'm
Tuesday
Malcolm.
Cruise wrote a couple of crit fails too. So, all right. Malcolm, describe to me what happens when you realize that Scratch is too heavy for you to carry.
Malcolm is stubborn and irritated by adults right now. And the fact that Scratch drank the sleepy juice that he wanted to drink and is now falling asleep, and is the only one who hasn't verbally objected to the fact that Malcolm wants to go save Gideon, mostly because he's unconscious. He begins to grab him. He grabs him as he's about to hit the water, right? And then his weight pulls him down because he's an adult. And Malcolm's 13. And he grabs him and yanks down, and then he's too stubborn to let go. So he's doing that fly thing where he's about to hit the ground. He puts his feet out further and he's pulling on him. And then as his sleeping body just sinks underwater, Malcolm's hands dip, and then Malcolm won't let go, and he's getting pulled underwater.
So the water around Scratch is beginning to kind of froth up a little bit as something is swirling around him. Malcolm, you're beginning to feel things kind of jumping up out at you. They're kind of hitting your body and they feel kind of slimy, but otherwise you're just kind of whatever. And then something just kind of grabs you and yanks you down into the water. And we're going to cut to Flora.
I think Flora would have been pointing to him as soon as she saw Malcolm coming over, to where he landed in case he didn't see. And when she sees him struggling, she's just going to whistle over to the doggos to see if they can go help. And she's going to start swimming over there.
Okay.
He still has that one sword. So, Cutlass?
I remember that.
Cutlass.
Do you know how to use a sword?
I mean, I used it pretty well fighting that thing twice.
That thing, that time, where she spit on her hands or cut her hands and did some really cool stuff with it.
Listen, there were tentacles involved, and now there are probably tentacles involved again. So she just wants to cut down whatever this thing is.
Okay. So as you're beginning to make your way over, and Sarah, Barry, and Gus you're sitting them where specifically again?
To go try to at least get his head above water.
Scratch his head above water.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah,
The
Barry, and Gus.
real goal is to not kill Scratch.
But this is more fun. Anyways, so Sarah, Barry, and Gus are making their way over as you're kind of swimming over towards, I guess, Malcolm is what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're swimming over towards Malcolm. Sarah, Barry, and Gus going for Scratch.
Aren't you right next to? Isn't he holding his arm?
He is holding his arm, but they're both been pulled underwater now.
Okay.
So as you're beginning to make your way towards them, you begin to feel the motion around your legs coalesce around your body as you're starting to swim, and you're starting to feel things that are grabbing at you. So you can continue to swim and face danger, or you can make a decision to do something else.
She's gonna yell out to JP, and she's going to, when she goes to pull her sword, she's gonna pull it with one hand and cut her other hand. See if she can. Oh fuck! That's gonna hurt everybody. Never mind. We're in water. Sorry, guys.
The flip side is that it possibly could just dilute it to no effect.
I don't know. Trying to think what she's gonna do.
How much water do you need to dilute this?
Okay, that's an interesting question, and I'm going to answer it with another interesting question. How much water does it take to actually dilute blood so that it no longer looks and feels like blood?
The counterpoint is how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
God, you're a fucking child.
Yes, I'm playing a child also.
No, you're playing yourself, who identifies as a child.
Yes, I do.
This is very different.
Yeah, she's gonna do her first idea, which was poison the water.
Okay.
As she pulls her sword out and just kind of hack at her feet and like cut it across in the water. Like you can't do it quickly, obviously.
Right.
Like waist high or whatever. But she's just gonna stab down at the ground with it, trying to clear a path so she can get over there.
So you're gonna cut your hands, and then you're gonna start swiping with the sword. Is that correct?
Yeah, she like pulls the sword out, holding like the sheath or whatever, but holds it with her hand over the blades. When you pull it out, it cuts her one hand, and then starts body stabbing.
All right, I'm gonna ask for some input from the table. There's a number of interesting moves that could be potentially going on here. To me, that sounds like hit them with all you got, because you're using two different tactics to just kind of defend yourself and move forward. It could be take a risk, given the fact that you know that your blood is as toxic as it is. Or it could be facing danger just to defend yourself. I think what it really comes down to is Flora's ultimate goal in this particular situation, and also I think the table's input in respects to what everybody thinks this move might actually be. Because to me, it sounds like one of those three moves. If anybody else has any input or ideas or wants to support one of them, I would love to hear arguments.
I mean, it sounds like a take a risk to me.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Or face danger.
Because you're spreading blood in the water, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's more take the risk, because like if you fail, the alternative could be you hurt people that you like, right?
I mean, sometimes.
Well, I mean,
sometimes I like them.
That's fair.
So I'm going to be using Touch of the Underworld. This is still daytime, right?
You don't know anymore, and I believe we established last time, or sorry, you wouldn't know specifically because you can't see outside, but we did establish that the sun was going down when the boulder was falling.
So what color is her hair?
Blacker than black, y'all.
Okay, so I'm going to use Dead of Night. No.
I'm glad somebody got that reference. All right, so you're in Dead of Night.
Touch of the Underworld.
Okay.
Meat Shield. Because she's doing this to try to get between danger and them.
Okay.
And I would say Kid's already dead because she's not really worried about it.
Okay. Ragdoll doesn't apply here?
I mean, I guess because I'm injuring myself, knowing that it'll heal.
Well, not only that, but you also don't necessarily care about your body so much in these cases, right?
Yeah.
That also factors in, can't die already dead, but
I mean, how poisonous is the blood?
How poisonous is what?
The blood, right? Your blood is
it's really fucking bad. The first episode? Was it the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I melted one in like half almost. It spreads and it just like eats through your flesh and it doesn't stop.
Ew.
But you'll probably be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. You're releasing it in how much water into an actual flowing river, right?
Yeah.
It's not a flowing river, but it's like a lagoon. So
it's like a lagoon.
It also depends.
Is the water flowing? Is it stagnant water?
No, there are definitely ripples, and there's definitely there is a current of some kind. It's not obvious. There's also a lot of things moving in the water, kind of shifting the water around. So that's going to shift and sort of dilute the effect.
The amount of blood that would have to be released in order to affect everything in the lagoon would probably be
She's
more
trying
than
to
she
get
has.
things away from her immediate vicinity so she can make a path and get through.
Well, okay, this is one of all right. I can't believe we're going to have this conversation, but guess what? It's tabletop, so we're going to. First off, how much, what is the effect of blood and water, and how quickly does it dilute? The second question is, how much blood can she actually bleed before it affects her in this particular case.
That's kind of where her ragdoll comes in. Is she
About a
can
deal.
withstand more. Like she could be missing arms, and like it would suck, and she'd be weakened, but she's not going to die. That's kind
Right, but does that ragdoll ability and her ability to replace her body parts, does that stem from just her innate ability as a being to hold her reality together, or is there something attributed to her blood that helps her do that? Right. I mean, so that's a conversation that we could have. That's like sort of like a meta sort of inquisitive kind of a conversation, but that's not super important to this right now because I'm just going to go with whatever you're going to tell me is the answer. But the third question then becomes, does the blood flow ever actually stop, or does it just continue to kind of pollute the situation? Right. I mean,
it doesn't heal immediately. It'd probably take a few minutes for it to stop bleeding.
Right. Exactly.
Because this isn't like she's not cutting her hand; she's dragging it and like making it worse as she.
Right. And so, depending upon that, all of that, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Even if it doesn't do anything, she's doing it because she thinks it'll help. So this is just her thinking like blood enemies. I can't throw it on them; they're underwater. So she's just like, "Fuck it," and you know.
What's the
I'm just
volume?
bringing. I'm just say what?
What's the volume of the water in the lagoon?
Big fucking lagoon.
So big fucking lagoon, volume of water, and then
More than a bathtub, less than an ocean.
all right. Let's just go with this. So you've got those power tags, right? You've got 4, was it 4 or 5?
Sorry, I just stopped laughing. 5.
Okay, so there are a couple factors. There are a couple story tags that are playing against you right here. 1 is darkness, and 2 is lagoon, because it's going to dilute the effectiveness of your blood. All right, so with 2 negative story tags in play, roll it. Hey, wow. Hey, Malcolm, that's how you roll, buddy. When you need to roll something, that's how you roll.
Don't inflate her ego.
It's not even that good of a roll.
It's not. It's a
I know.
mild success.
You know what? If she had no power tags, she would have failed too. But I'm just saying, man. If you need to make a roll, that's kind of how you make the roll.
Eat shit.
So nice.
All right. So,
Hope a fucking Khalasad comes and cuts your ponytail off, you jerk.
Wow.
Who's the
All right.
bitch now?
oh. All right. So, starting up with this, Flora, please describe the action in detail as you cut your hands and then begin to kind of swipe yourself, and then swipe around you, and then I'll take you through that particular part where the failure comes into play here.
I like to think that she looks real cool doing it at first, and she just like whistles over to the dogs and points at them, and then she goes to pull it out, and there's like blood, spewing or whatever, and then it's just her awkwardly like just stabbing. She's just standing still. She's not even moving. She's just stabbing like around her legs at these things, and yelling at her buddy, who's nowhere to be found.
Okay, so as you're swiping around, you feel, at first you don't feel anything. You feel the sword kind of hit the ground as you feel your blood sort of begin to pool out of you and then around you in the water. You get a sense of, even in the low light, that there's a darker pool or a darker area around you because your blood is beginning to kind of flow in the water, and so you're not moving any closer to Scratch and Malcolm at this point, but you're as you're stabbing down, at first you hit just rock bottom, and then occasionally you feel something that kind of feels more squishy as it kind of slides through. You can feel the motion of the sword kind of doing something a little bit different, and you hit that a couple of times, and then you start to see little bodies kind of float up a little bit. At first, just around you, there are things that are just sort of popping up out of the water that appear to be being affected by the blood that you've introduced into the water, poisoning things, and you see these little flat fish kind of pop up around you, and it's clear that it's having some effect. but then you see something else sort of pop up, and it's a much larger body, and it looks to be the shape of like a mermaid. And we're gonna cut to JP.
So I'm on the deck of the ship, holding a child still.
You are holding a child. You did leave the cup behind, if I remember correctly, and you're still feeling the pull from the cup.
Oh,
You remember that?
yeah, I forgot about that. Why do I have to do everything?
Because you're the workhorse of the group.
All right, well, I'm going to do more stuff and try to save everyone. But good thing when I need to be in 2 places at one time, I can be. So I would like to be in 2 places at one time.
How are you going to go about doing that, JP? That's a real interesting thing you can do there.
I wanna clone myself and snag up Mr. Beauregard and bring him onto the ship.
Mr. Beauregard, I like it.
Mr. Beauregard.
Does he have a twirly mustache and a little top hat? Mr. Beauregard, is he a dapper gentleman?
No.
Okay, so
He's a smooth one, Mr. Beauregard.
All right, so talk to me about what kind of a move this is for JP.
Probably change the game
Okay.
as he clones himself.
Okay.
So I would like to use transformation, replication,
Mm-hmm.
one-man army, and in this case, because I am one man who can be an army, is he like sinking in the water?
Yes. So what you notice as Malcolm was trying to grab him, Malcolm was unsuccessful in just kind of grabbing, kind of picking him up, and Malcolm was then dragged under the water, and Scratch's body disappeared at the same time.
Okay, so I would like to then use, I think then high flying leaps and acrobatics probably like help, because the clone has to like dive into the water after him.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So there are a couple of factors in play here. Darkness is being one of them. Since this is not, this is a high flying leap, but it's the cavern is definitely not going to affect you in this particular jump when that happens. The other factor is going to be Lagoon.
Alrighty, let's give it a whirl. Changing the game. Boom!
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Let me see. I may have something for this. I can't remember.
I don't think you took that for Change the Game, but I could be wrong. You hadn't talked to me if you did.
No, so I have Cabin of the Source. Once per session, you get a free batch of 2 juice with a method that relates to this theme. Change the game options when I have great success are. Oh, I forgot that we don't have the things in the Roll20 anymore. Shoot, sorry, hold on. I have them on my. All right, change the game. Okay. So I will create a story tag.
So remember, you have 4 power tags here because the first 2 count. The first one counts as 2, and you've got 2 more. So you've got an entirely 4. Okay, so you're going to create a story tag.
Many JPs. Because I'm going to scale that up. So it'll be 3 JPs. Right? Because I can spend it 1 for 1, right?
Sure.
So I guess the story tag can just be clones. And then I want to scale up the effects so that I have multiple
mini JPs.
Narratively.
Okay, so you've got 3 JPs then. Are they naked?
They're not naked. They're wearing. I think they're wearing like diving Olympic divers outfits. So like speedos.
Wait a second. Hold on. Time out. This is technically the first time that JP is changing outfits for his clones.
No, that's not true. That's not true. There was one time when I made like a bunch of different clones that were all different, wearing like different like random crap.
The only clone I remember wearing anything different was the one that you went to meet.
Marty. Yeah, Marty was definitely.
Fine, I'll just be wearing normal clothes. Fine.
I mean, if you want, I mean, if you've got an extra juice, you can totally put them in divers outfits.
No, I'm not spending juice for that.
But it looks really cool.
Not that cool.
It's
What
like,
else?
you know when you get the shoes with the lights in them when you're a kid and they make you run faster? Being in an Olympic diving outfit makes you swim better and faster.
I'm sure Malcolm believes that.
More aerodynamic.
Exactly.
And then, so that leaves me with 2 juice, right?
I don't know. Are you putting divers outfits on them?
No.
All right, just for this once, because it's funny as shit. I just want them to come fully formed with diver outfits, so clone JPs get that automatically. It's just in this one case, all right? Gosh,
Fine. Fine.
But he says,
Right.
like, diver JPs, go! And they have, like, the old school helmet diver, like, the full...
is this like a Johnny Quest moment where there's like some weird sort of like, or even Venture Brothers moment where the music just all kind of gets weird and sort of like horns and shit, like.
Yep.
Here's what I'll do. I think, I guess I'll just bank the 2 juice. I'll bank the 2 juice.
That's actually a really good idea in this particular scene, because this scene's probably going to go on for a while. At least that's my hope, given the way things are going.
Now, to be clear, I can bank these and use them to create story types later, right?
Yeah.
Or do I?
You can, yes.
Roll.
No. So the way that we've been playing with it, and I believe it's the way it's as written as the rules in the book, they last for as long as the scene is going on, and the scene, in my mind, is the lagoon and the pirate ship at this point.
Cool.
So yes. So with that, so describe to me what happens next with your clones.
They dive in and try to rescue my friends. So the ones who are sinking are Bo, who's asleep, so he's first priority because he'll actually like drown.
I'm sorry, who?
Beauregard, Scratch, Legba.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious, making sure, because I didn't know that there was there was a bow guy here.
Big Baby B.
BBB, baby.
If there's anybody that can call me Bo, it's the man I've ridden twice.
Why do you think I call?
You forgot about that.
Why do you think I call him that in real
shit.
life?
Somebody quote that shit and clip that shit. Oh my god.
Oh man,
Big Baby Bo.
I thought you called him Boo. I was just like, "This is what we're doing now." All right,
Beauregard
you guys are official now. All right.
They're on Mist Book.
or Beauregard.
This book, get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, first I'll try to rescue Scratch, but since I have 3 of them, I can probably try to get all 3. I'm gonna try to get all 3 of my friends onto the deck of the ship. 3 JPs, 3 friends.
What about Sarah, Barry, and Gus?
I can carry. It's
You're a
like
monster.
like a stack, right? I carry the dog, which is carrying Flora.
Wait, so can we, just because I'm a contrarian here, can we do the change the game that he just did, right? But also you have to roll to save us because the other JPs also can't swim.
Oh, I I was expecting to have to make a roll to save you guys still, but this was
Or they get distracted by the mermaid.
this gives me like the narrative ability to like be in the water and save you without having to risk Gideon.
Yeah. Yep, they can't swim any better now. They have speedos
They can't.
on.
and that's exactly what's going to happen. So you hear a little flourish of horn. They jump into the water. You hear a big splash, and we're going to cut back to Scratch.
Good.
So Scratch, laid out in front of you is the game.
Pee.
What?
I mean, obviously, if I'm floating in water now, in my dream, I will probably have to pee.
Oh no. It gets much more interesting than that.
That's how Inception
Oh.
works.
Neat.
What? Inception? No.
We gotta go deeper.
I'm not going to respond to that because Trendane will. Anyways,
Hey!
The long jokes, all right.
Oh!
So Scratch, you have cards dealt out in front of you, and as we played Old Maid before, because I didn't prepare for the element of actually playing this game. Although the next time we will probably end up playing, if there's a third card game, we will be playing the game that you suggested, which I think was a great idea. But we're going to use real cards that time on screen.
Cool.
What game are you making up rules for?
I remember.
Yeah, so we're not telling you if it happens again, which I'm hoping it does. It's going to be perfect.
Isn't it? Never mind. Last time.
What game is Scratch playing right now?
He's playing Crazy Eights.
Oh, it's just like Uno.
No, he's saying next time he'll play Old Maid.
Yeah, but he said
Nope.
he said he didn't look up. He
I
didn't
thought it
look
was
up the
Old
rules.
Maid.
Oh no, Scratch originally suggested another game. Sorry. Flags originally suggested another great game that would be perfect to play on screen, and it would be very easy for us. We just need to make sure that we have cards
Two fish.
available. Oh no, even better.
Damn
All right, Scratch, you and I are going to come up with a way for us to play that game before the end of the season. Anyways, cards are being dealt out in front of you, and as before, we're going to play as we did with Old Maid. We're just going to roll 2d6 when we need to. Game's going. The first game is kind of being laid out. You know, cards are being exchanged. Scratch, Samuel is kind of looking at you. Why'd you bring me back here? What's so important about me being in your dream there, Beauregard?
You must have something I want. Answers. Maybe.
This is all in your head, man.
Yeah, so that means you're probably gonna tell me what I want to hear.
Sure. Maybe it's something you forgot. So what do you want to know, Scratch?
What was that boy after?
Which
Wow.
boy?
The boy on the island that drank the drink that I drunk.
He wasn't after anything, Scratch.
Yeah. Figured you'd say that. Scratch wants to, is there anything else on the table?
Yes, the cup is on the table at the center. And there are chips on the table. And the chips on the table, there are just 3. Actually, there are 4. One of them,
What kind of chips?
they're poker chips.
Oh.
Salt and vinegar.
Yeah, I'm so fat. I was like, oh, is it like Doritos? Or what's just got like a whole spread going on?
Well, technically, sir, they are kettle chips. They're, sour cream and onion with a little bit of ranch sauce on the side for you to be able to do some dipping. And if you want to put a pickle on top, there's some pickles right there too.
Okay.
There are 4 chips. Each chip on the table in front of you has the picture of one of your friends. And then the 4th one has Sarah, Barry, and Gus.
Of course it does.
And sitting in front of him are a number of chips, a larger stack. And what you see is the pictures of some of the young men who work for Samuel. And there's one interesting chip that he has in front of him that isn't with another stack, and that has the picture of Gideon on it.
Okay. Something's telling me these chips mean something.
What would give you that idea,
I
sir?
don't know. If I was a betting man,
Are you a betting man? Do you bet on Crazy Eights?
Better become a betting man.
If I was a dipping man.
I'm a betting man.
So these kettle chips, right? They come in the shape of Malcolm and JP and Flora. Flora is a little saltier than the rest of them, though. It's
I bet. Why is that same chip all soggy? Let me think here for a second. Okay. He's gonna see the chips. He's gonna grab the cup,
okay.
and seeing as how he believes at this point that he has some semblance of control over this dream.
Some semblance.
Yeah, and he's gonna try to turn the cup into an apple. And this is strictly just testing the waters again.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's a really awesome thing. Okay, so you reach for the cup, and when you grasp it,
Can I just ask you?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Go ahead.
When you grab for it, it vibrates in your hand. There's like an energy surge that just sort of comes off of it, and it glows a little bit. And Samuel kind of looks over at you and says, "The game's not done yet. What are you doing?"
I feel like Scratch is just looking like an idiot holding this cup, just staring at it, trying to get it to turn into an apple, but he doesn't want to say that he's trying to get it to turn into an apple. So he's just like, that's a nice cup. Sets it back down. Unless it turns into an apple.
Well, if you want to change the game or take a risk, you are more than welcome to actually make that happen.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I feel like not changing it into an apple adds more to
Okay.
the story. So what are these chips? Have people bet with these chips? Are they just sitting in the middle of the table?
They're sitting in front of you.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't get smacked if I try to grab a chip.
Nope.
Okay.
And so he looks at you and says, "It's time to place the bet." And he slides across a chip with one of the children, one of the boys that are under his control.
Is there a me chip?
No.
That is unfortunate.
Can't bet yourself unless you put yourself in the game.
Dang. Scratch is there anything other than chips in a cup?
Not on the table, no. Everybody around the room, including yourself, is armed with a 6-shooter on your side. Everybody else is dressed in sort of vaguely, gambler Western garb.
Scratch, be in a dream. And I feel like this is going to be obvious to Scratch that we're betting lives here.
Depends.
Sammy, I don't think I like the stakes of this game. He's going to look over the dark figure in the corner. Maybe we get another player. I just realized you don't see me doing this. He's waving over the dark shadow that's probably going to scare him.
Scare Samuel?
Scare himself.
So Samuel kind of looks over, looks back at you. Are you putting yourself in the game there, Scratch?
I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get the answers I need. And the fact that this is a dream means I have the answers I need. You just ain't playing fair, Sammy. So I figure 2 heads is better than 1. Ain't that right? And he's gonna smile and look over at the dark figure, and he's gonna sheen. Shoot. Blue hue going across his face.
Okay. And so you're going to bring it in. You're going to bring yourself into the game then, right? As a chip. Is that what I'm hearing? Change the game then. Roll it for me.
Changing the game. I'm gonna use Gift of Gab again because I felt like I talked myself into a position. Maybe not a good position, but I talked myself to up and something for me. And yeah, I'm just gonna use it one.
What, hold on.
Oh, what? No, you just.
You rolled it without giving me an opportunity to throw any negative story tags in it.
I didn't know. You said give me a roll. And I was like, okay.
I said give me a roll, and I wanted you to list off your power tags. I'm sorry. So it doesn't really matter all that much. There would have been 1 story tag in play or negative story tag in play, but you only used 1 power tag. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
So either way, it was going to be a success. And so what happens next is the shadowy figure smiles even bigger. And you hear a little bit of a laugh as it sort of coalesces out of the wall into sort of this like blue shadowy sort of mist kind of a thing that just swirls and lands itself on the table. And it just, it kind of rolls like a coin, just sort of, spinning and then landing on the table, heads up. And all you see is a big shit-eating grin of teeth. And that's it. And Samuel kind of looks over to you and he says, "That's a pretty bold move. You must really want something that you think I have."
Scratch is gonna grab that chip, put it right next to him. He's gonna grab the Sam chip and throw it in.
Damn! Disregarding the JP first. All right. Let's roll it. 1d6.
Oh, 1d6. Okay.
Fire wins.
Roll a 1.
It's a push.
So again?
Well, he kind of looks at this, he lays down his cards and you lay down your cards. That's a real shame. And he reaches over for the JP chip and slides it back over to you, takes his chip back and says, "I thought you were a little bit bolder than that. That little bit of a meathead that you have there of a friend. Not really worth my time." Yeah. Maybe he can take care of himself, but he's not really my style of a minion. And he begins to kind of shuffle the cards and begins to redeal them again. And it's at that moment that you feel a little clammy and cold. And you feel something sort of catch in your throat. And you start to cough. You start to cough a little bit, and you gag and you cough up a little fish that's sort of flopping on the table in front of you. And you look down and you look back up at Samuel, and he smiles at you and says, "Seems like you're in a little bit of trouble there. You want some help? It won't cost you much."
We just gonna keep playing, okay? My
Fine.
friends We'll find a way to get us out of this.
And he kind of smirks at you and says, all right, let's play. And the game begins again. And we're going to cut to Malcolm.
All in. No.
Malcolm, you are being pulled underwater by something. And it is starting to kind of grab you and drag you under the water and swirl you kind of around.
That's bullshit.
What do you mean it's bullshit? This is what happens.
No, it's bullshit, Johnny. I roll to disbelieve, which is usually a Dungeons and Dragons meme, but also I think fully within Malcolm's powers. I pretend that doesn't exist and it goes away. Can I what is it like a tentacle wrapped around me? What does it feel like this thing is?
Feels like arms around you.
Like person arms?
Yes.
Like nuclear arms? Okay.
Nope.
You can't hug your
But they are
children with
definitely
nuclear
strong.
arms. That's for sure.
They are very strong arms. They grab onto you and they feel, even in the water, they feel a little slimy.
Okay.
But their grip is incredibly strong, but the arms are really thin. And there is a slight dig at where the end of the arms have, where there's like hands, that you feel that there's hands, but there's something slightly digging into you.
I burn a power tag.
Why would you do that? Come on, seriously? You afraid of your terrible rolls? Are you that much of a whiny baby?
Nope.
Don't even want to take an Al crit?
Because we only have 3 episodes left, and I like fucking with you.
Yeah, see, that's not an excuse at all.
We're underground. Yes?
No.
I mean,
You're in a mountain.
Right. Wait, did we go up into the mountain? Or we went down? We went down towards
I
lava. We down.
No,
We're
you
underground.
went up, and then you went across, and then you kind of...
There's lava. We're down. Yeah. Okay. So, I haven't done this before. But Malcolm knows where something is, and he's panicking and drowning and being pulled deeper. And I think in his, fit of fear, especially since nightmares are a tag, he holds on and grasps for the one person he knows can save him. And I'm going to burn my tag, imagine things to life. And what I imagine to protect me from these monsters is all of the wooden men underneath Mr. Gephardt's shop. Guys, if you don't know about those wooden men from Mr. Gephardt's shop, go back on YouTube and watch season 1.
You're a player in this game and still don't know about it.
Go back to season 1.
I remember it. Ooh boy.
I'm trying to imagine whether those would still exist after what happened to Gephardt.
Sarah, Barry, and Gus do. So did Pinocchio.
Yeah, that's powered by love. Don't you take them away from me.
Sarah, Barry, and Gus do,
And so did Pinocchio.
but Pinocchio is a different circumstance.
But the fairy got away.
You don't know what actually happened.
I mean, as far as Malcolm knows, the fairy got away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I mean, if it's not possible, I'll totally do something else, right? Because I'm not
Oh
privy to
no,
all
it's
of the...
it's totally possible. I'm just trying to figure out how that would actually work. So, Malcolm, you're burning a tag. They're coming into the game. How do they arrive?
So I feel like this isn't a fathomless cavern, right? There's a bottom to this cavern, I assume. Because that's kind of how land works. So as Malcolm is getting pulled down, I think he gets pulled down far enough that we're close enough to the bottom, right? Unless it's hundreds of feet deep, so stop me if it is. And as they get down there, you just see kind of like that scene from either Wrath of the Lich King or from Game of Thrones, and you just see a blue light start to, like a single light, and then another light, and another light, and another light, and it just is like an ocean of like algae, sort of, at the bottom of the cavern, and then it lights up, it illuminates enough that probably the people on top can see the light, but it is essentially terracotta warriors are standing on the bottom of this cavern, this lagoon, and they all of their I think was it their left eyes all glow blue. It's like one after another, as whatever it is pulling him down gets closer and closer to these things, and they all begin to reach up towards whatever is grabbing Malcolm.
Okay, Malcolm, you've got control here. What happens when they reach out for this particular thing?
What is it?
A mermaid.
Fuck that. Yeah, so I assume that it like illuminates kind of everything, right? Because it's like this blue glow, and I think they float because they're wood, right? They all begin to like float up like autonomous robots, and grab onto this thing, and the rest begin to float towards the surface. I assume it doesn't need 100 wooden men to grab one mermaid off of Malcolm, but an appropriate number of them begin to attempt to pull this mermaid off of Malcolm. And you can be as violent as you like, because I don't know what the hell their purpose was when Greg made them, but it seemed like not good purpose.
No, they were not good purpose at all. In fact, they were incredibly evil. And so, as they're starting to reach up, they grab for this thing and they pull you and it down at first, pulling you farther and farther down. But its reaction is this loud scream that just sort of pierces your ears, and it's just intense. And so as it's getting pulled, it lets you go, and you're beginning to float back to the surface as this thing is getting pulled down, and you just see that it's starting to get pulled in different directions, and it's starting to be ripped apart. And there are other things in the water reacting to this as you hear more screams, as those things immediately shift and start to move towards the other terracotta wooden figures. And we're going to cut to Flora.
Yeah, I think Flora is seeing these things, and Malcolm trying to help. She's going to try to cut through still. She doesn't know what these things are that just appeared out of the water, but she's also slicing at those.
Okay, so is this sort of a hit them with all you got because they're all distracted at this point, or what's going on here? Is this...
I think she just panics and is just flailing.
Okay, so let's call it hit with all you got. What power tags are going to apply in this situation?
Dead of Night, Meat Shield, and I'm assuming she's still bleeding, so I would still say Ragdoll.
Okay. That sounds about right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Let's see. There are still the two story tags, Darkness and Lagoon, applying against you. So go ahead and roll it.
That's surprising.
Mild success. Okay. So, hold on. Let me bring up the power tag player moves sheet real quick. All right. So hit them with all you got. You can choose one of the following: take cover or grab a superior position. You get them good or get them many. You control the collateral damage. You hold the target's attention, or you get an upper hand on top of the damage that you're doing to them.
I would almost say gain the upper hand as she's maybe they've distracted long enough that she can get over towards Malcolm.
Okay, enough of them are struck as you were kind of slicing through to do enough damage to force them to kind of back off as they're around you, and they're avoiding you now. And so they kind of just spread sort of around you as you're able to swim over to Malcolm as he breaks the surface again in the water.
Can she grab for Scratch?
Scratch is still getting pulled down at this point now.
Okay. Can she swim down?
Sure.
And just
you
start
can try.
using it to try to like cut things off.
So using what? The sword?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
you can
her
make
hands, like anything, just to try to pry them off. I guess her hands.
Okay, so as you begin to swim down, you see that there's a bunch of swirls of these sort of mermaid-like creatures that are making their way towards the wooden army that's sort of below. You get a full like view of it because the light coming from their eyes is sort of illuminating each other and what's going on below you. And so you see the swirl of attack, and you see Scratch sort of being pulled down by two of these mermaid things. And that's when you notice, as you're kind of taking in the whole situation, you look over, you see that there are 3 scuba geared JPs in the water, and we're going to cut to JP.
All right, trying to grab up my friends and carry them onto a boat.
All right, so how do you want to do this? So the current situation with the JPs find are Malcolm has just separated himself and has broken the surface. Flora is discovering that that's the case, starting to kick her way towards the 2 mermaids that are pulling Scratch down under the water. And Scratch is just sort of getting pulled there.
All right, so they're going to go after Scratch and then try to get him and Flora onto the boat. And I think Malcolm can take care of himself, I think, at this point. He's out of the water.
He's not out of the water. He's floated to the surface. He's on the surface, so.
All right. Well, then one of the JPs will grab him and try to get him onto the boat too.
Okay. So that JP sort of swims over in scuba gear, and what you recognize, Malcolm, is this JP figure just kind of swimming up to you with a big bulbous head kind of a thing, and you can see that it's clearly JP inside wearing scuba gear, and you see that there are 2 others kind of moving through the water.
Man, I want to say he's like unconscious. But no, yeah, if he sees them swimming towards him, he moves slowly towards them, like he was just underwater for a long ass time. So yeah, he is sluggish in his movements, and you can see like anytime his head bobs up, he's probably coughing and sputtering.
So then JP is going to use this. How deep is it?
The lagoon goes down pretty deep now, since what Malcolm did was change the game and basically influence the shape of the lagoon under you.
Well, I guess here's what's going to happen. So the scuba JP is going to try to toss Malcolm up to the other JP. Because I'm bad at swimming.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to assume that you were super bad at swimming at this point because you're wearing scuba gear, so that does give you some sort of buoyancy and control. But okay,
that's fine. I can just swim in, I guess. But this would be cooler, I think.
Okay, then that's perfectly fine with me. So, what applies here?
Supernatural strength.
Okay.
Does one-man army help because I'm helping everyone at the same time?
Yeah, one-man army applies here.
I get one from my story tag, right? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay. That's probably it.
Okay. So darkness is still going to apply here. Lagoon is still going to apply here. And that's it for story tags. Negative story tags against you.
And what is this? Take a risk?
I don't know. You tell me. What do you think it is?
Either change the game or take a risk, probably.
Take a risk seems like a much simpler thing to solve here.
All right, let's do that.
Because you're trying to help Malcolm, but okay, great success.
Boom.
Okay, describe what happens when you throw Malcolm, and Malcolm, describe what happens when you land.
So Malcolm is like sputtering, and then the suited JP gets to him, like picks him up, and then just like tosses him up, and then the other JP catches him and sets him down.
Okay.
It's a
Malcolm, you now
classic.
find yourself. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a classic Hail Mary play.
It's a solid alley-oop. You just alley-ooped a child. Yeah, and I think when you like kind of place him down on the ground, he doesn't have his sea legs about him, and he kind of topples, and he's like on a knees in one hand as he like clutches his stomach, and he's like hurling up water.
Kid.
And I think you might hear, if you're listening closely, he stutters out the word Mr. G.
Oh.
Which gives JP trauma.
Yeah.
Because I murdered him.
Yeah.
Because you murdered him.
Because I
He
killed him.
he now has an automatic -1 to all rolls for the rest of the scene. He's sad.
Because I murdered a
Got
year.
water on my face, guys.
There was a splash.
Is my mascara running?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for Malcolm.
So we're going to cut to the next JP. What's the next JP doing?
The other two are going after Flora and Scratch. So probably primarily Scratch, because if they get Scratch, then Flora won't be swimming after him anymore.
Okay. So how do you want to attempt to do that?
They're just going to dive at the mermaids and try to take them out. So like the two JPs are like shooting down at the mermaids.
Thought they couldn't swim really well.
Well, they're in scuba gear. You're the one who said that means that they can swim now.
All right. So they're in scuba gear. They can control that. All right. Fine. All right. So is that a hit them with all you got?
Sure.
Okay.
I think Body Like a Mountain helps here because it makes you faster at sinking,
Okay.
trying to catch them. Supernatural strength for the hitting of them.
For the hitting. Okay.
Martial arts, striking.
Okay.
And defiant charge. No,
Yeah.
I lost it. You stuttered.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. So the two story tags are still going to be in play. Yeah, we're just going to leave it at the 2 story tags.
All right, I still get the bonus from the JPs. And here we go. Hit them with all I've got. Okay. It could be worse.
That's crazy that it's a mild success with that many power tags. Okay. Describe to us, JP, what it's like when they shoot down into the water and they rip Scratch from the mermaid's arms.
So I think like these are the clones are like basically like sacrificing themselves. So
Okay.
basically we see them like zoom by because they're like have so much more weight in the water. And then they like one like snags up one of the mermaids and like disappears down into the darkness of the lagoon. The other one grabs another mermaid, disappears down into the darkness, and maybe we will never see these JPs again.
Okay. So as these two are getting pulled down into the water, Scratch's body begins to sort of slowly float up. Flora, you see the body of Scratch getting floated as these two JPs just kind of shoot down, take the mermaids, and kind of carry them away.
She's going to get as close as she can because she was underwater trying to hit their legs.
Absolutely.
When she pops out, she'll just pick his head up above water and just kind of lean back so that she can pull his head out of the water.
Okay.
Like under his arms. And try to like somewhat tread to land.
All right, and so you're able to get Scratched back to the sort of the side of the ship, and a rope comes down, almost automatically, just from somewhere. kind of like pulling you, kind of giving you the opportunity to pull yourself up. You see Sarah, Barry, and Gus just still sort of dog paddling towards the ship as well.
Is the rope long enough that I can like tie it around Scratch's waist or something?
Sure.
She'll like sloppily be trying to like hold him and like tie the rope around him, and then she'll just hit the side of the ship, not knowing what to expect. A magic rope came down. Maybe it'll go back up. Scratch.
Okay, and so you're able to kind of get up onto the ship, and then you're able to pull him back up, and you flop him onto the deck as the four of you are now reunited on the deck itself, and there is one JP sort of standing there left in scuba gear, coming back up onto the ship.
I think Flora's gonna look to him and look to his clone. At least this one's not naked. At least he's got clothes on.
Just never gonna forget that one, eh?
I mean, we hadn't known each other that long, and you're just running around naked, so. And she's just gonna go over and just kind of like look really close at his clone, like a few inches from his face.
And that's all you're doing to the clone?
Yeah, she's just being a creep. She's just staring at him.
The clone does that.
All right. So as you're having this awkward staring moment and this interaction is happening, we're going to switch back to Scratch in the dream. Okay, Scratch. Game's playing itself out in front of you. Sam is kind of looking at you, looking at the cards. Have you figured out why you're here yet?
Not really. I figure I'm trying to get answers. You ain't giving me no answers.
Why does he drink the cup?
I thought the boy was drunk. It smelled like whiskey. What was I supposed to do? Not drink it? Come on, man.
Scratch, you bring your demons with you when you drink the bottle. You know that.
Yeah, well, they know me best.
Shakes his head. All right, boy. It's time to ante up. He slides the same piece chip in front of you with the same boy's face on the table.
He's gonna slide Sarah Berry Gus token. Okay. I bet JP's life, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's cool." I bet the fucking 3-headed dog, and it's like, bitch.
Hey, man.
People are assholes. Dogs are just animals.
You're the one who's going to have to deal with the wrath of Ginge if you lose her pup.
She ain't gotta know.
Who pulled you out of off the ship?
I mean, it wasn't the dog.
Damn. All right. Okay, so he looks at you and he says, 3-headed dog. It's not worth anything to me. All right, Scratch. I guess I'm going to have to up the ante a little bit. Slides another chip across. This time it looks like one of the lieutenants. In fact, one of the ones that you used to work with. So you recognize this boy, this young man now, probably early 20s. Somebody you might have trained before you left.
She gonna be mighty lonely without a dog. He's gonna slide the token.
The Flora token?
Flora, yeah.
Damn!
I mean, you literally gave me 4 tokens to play with.
These are not 4 tokens, they're 4 chips.
Semantics.
Whatever. All right. He's like, all right, I call. And
we roll.
lays down his cards. Rolls a 3. Oh,
Fucking kidding me?
damn it. Okay. And he kind of chuckles a little bit. You're pretty loose with your friendships here, Scratch. What you gonna do next when they're all gone?
This is a dream. You ain't real, and their lives ain't in danger. This is just for fun, Sammy.
Right.
If I wanted you to have dreadlocks, I can make you have dreadlocks right now. See, this is my dream. If I want to turn my feet into roast beef and your ass into au jus and start making French dips, I can do it. It's my dream, motherfucker.
That's right, Scratch. It is your dream. But remember,
he's gonna grab the table and shake it. Didn't tell me what I want to know.
that's not how this particular end of the game happens. That's the next round, my friend. You see, this is your dream. You did bring them with you, though. You brought them into this dream with you. And you just lost. So let me just show you a little fun here. Flora, face danger.
Dope. Please don't die.
Straight roll.
What power tags do you think would be working against the influence of the potion or the drinking from the cup? You saw what happened to JP, or saw what happened to Scratch the last time we played, although that was like a couple weeks ago.
Can't die already dead?
Sure.
To do with it?
Not technically, no, but sure that can apply.
Underworld, maybe she can't be poisoned.
Okay, that works. Touch of the underworld.
That's probably it.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to let you roll with the +1. Let's see what happens.
What am I doing? Face danger?
You're facing danger.
Well.
It's funny. He laughs. He doesn't know what's about to happen. Flora, you fall asleep. For Malcolm and JP, she just kind of looks like she's getting tired and then just begins to sink to the ground easily and just kind of lays there and falls asleep. Scratch. Off in a corner, you see a couple of chairs. As you begin to see Flora fade in slowly next to you. Or sorry, in the chair across from you. Sort of in the background. At her feet are coiled rope. Samuel kind of looks over. Well, it seems like you picked your friends quite well. She's a little stronger than I was expecting. And for Flora, what happens next is you begin to fade into this room, and you see the room that Scratch is in, and you see him and Samuel at the table with a couple of other players, and they're clearly playing a card game. And there are chips on the table. How would Flora be dressed, and what would her general appearance look like in sort of a late 1800s sort of a Western garb kind of a thing? What would the look for Flora be at that point?
It's probably the same Victorian-looking stuff she normally wears.
Not any more colorful or any change of flourish or sort of affectation that goes along with it?
No, I think she would look almost like normal Flora. Like she looks out of place normally. This is just her in black dress, corset, like normally what she would wear. And it's
right.
just actually suddenly fits in a little bit more. Is she restrained?
No.
Okay.
There are clearly ropes that are at your feet, and you realize that the kind of ropes that would be used to sort of restrain a person, and you see that there are two other chairs next to you, and those ropes are coiled in the chairs themselves. But you sort of just fade into this room and into this dream, and you see Scratch just kind of looking over at you, and you see Samuel kind of looking back at you, smiling.
I think she would tilt her head a little bit, look up like she's trying to think about where she last was, and then looks over. Scratch, do you remember drinking from a cup?
Yes.
What would you say this is?
The result.
Why am I here?
A miscalculation.
She goes to stand up.
You have free movement in the room.
Okay. She's going to punch Sammy as she goes to get up. Because her first thought is, it's probably this guy's fault.
Your hand passes through him.
She looks over at Scratch.
It was all a dream.
I mean, I also used to read Word Up
Used to
magazine.
read Word Up magazines.
Over there, we got Salt and Pepper Heavy D up in the limousine.
I mean, I never thought hip hop would make it this far.
I never thought jazz would make it this far.
Yeah, I think she just realizes it's not going to do anything and goes, well, worth a shot. And she just goes back and sits down in her chair.
You should tell her the circumstances, Scratch.
She'll figure it out.
No, I think you need to tell her.
Nah, she'll figure it out.
If you don't tell her, she's going to be surprised, and she doesn't strike me as the kind of woman who likes surprises.
We're playing a card game for people's souls and lives. It's not a big deal.
Oh,
By the way, you and JP and the dog belong to him now.
I wouldn't
No.
recommend bargaining with mine.
JP doesn't. You didn't bet JP, remember?
No, I didn't. It was the first
No,
one.
you bet JP the first time, and he was slid back to you. Yep, the first hand was a push.
First hand was a push.
Oh, put that's cool. All right, I thought you won the tie and took all of them.
No,
Yeah,
Samuel just kind of okay, good,
Yeah.
all right, good. I'm glad we're back on the same page.
Cool. Definitely would have bet him again.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that
He's
JP guy! I swear to
strong.
God.
He can handle himself. Not that Flora couldn't handle herself, but JP is
Clearly she
the
could.
jumpy thing.
I think I didn't do anything. I think if Scratch won't answer the question, Flora's gonna stand up and look at the table. Like since while he was finally answering her, she's looking at the table and looking at the pieces and everything.
So you see the pieces as it was laid out for Scratch when it was described. You see that there are two pieces on. That there are obviously two pieces, one with your face and one with the sort of the representation of Sarah, Barry, and Gus, just on Samuel's side of the table. And you see that there's two other pieces, or actually three other pieces on the other side of the table. One representing Malcolm, his face. One representing JP. I just realized something that could happen here. That's pretty awesome. If JP's smart, he'll think about it. And then there's one that's representing Scratch, but it's just a teeth. It's just a big shit-eating grin with teeth.
She's gonna look over to Sammy. I wouldn't recommend trying to take mine.
He wanted. He didn't take.
I mean, he thinks he did. We're in a dream.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then he went, and you showed up in the chair.
Yeah.
So, Scratch, you want to explain to her how much power you have in here?
I have about this much power in here.
I figured.
I can turn a cup into a marshmallow, but Yeah,
That's not.
it.
That's. He kind of shakes his head and he says, "Everything that's happening here, Scratch. It's all you're doing."
It's all my doing, apparently.
But
Laura's gonna look to Scratch and just listen, man. I don't know what kind of weird shit you got into, and we're now in the middle of your shit. But I have to deal with their shit, and they're out there. So, how does this? How do you win? Do you not win? Are we stuck here?
He's gonna look at the Samuel Ghost. She's distracted. Can we get back to the game?
I don't know. It's your dream. Can you get her to shut up?
Everyone gets to shut up because Al donated 1 crit apiece. 1 Al crit apiece to everyone, including the Dungeon Master.
Oh no. Oh no.
By saying that, he's insinuating he wishes her to be gone.
To be gone.
To be gone back into her body, of course, into the real world.
Forever in the fiery pits of hell.
Okay, Scratch. This seems like I'll take a risk.
It seems like
You're going to be rolling.
Seems like you should use your.
it seems. Do you want me to use my Alcrit? I'll use my freaking Alcrit.
Do you want to use your owl crit?
No, I don't.
Sure you do.
Nah.
You're only bargaining with my life.
You're right. It ain't even my life. Let me see. No, I don't.
And technically, it's on a life.
Get me killed though.
No. Oh man. Okay, yeah, let's just use that. Hey, was that the good one?
Yes.
It was the good one.
That the good one?
I forgot if it was 1 or 2. All right.
One's it. Yeah.
I crit all over her. And send her.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to react when you say it just like that. So I'm going to just say that Samuel smiles at you. The chip in front of her, or in front of him, vanishes from his pile and reappears in your pile again. And she begins to fade. Dude,
She just double birds as she's fading out because they were telling her to shut up.
As she's fading out, he's gonna look down and see the fish that he coughed up and be like, "Oh, wait, what the fuck is?"
And we're gonna cut back to JP and Malcolm as Flora has just fallen asleep.
Yeah, I think Malcolm is still like sputtering. Because I think this only happened over like a course of a few seconds, right? He's sputtering.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So he's sputtering and he sees like Flora kind of like slump, and he looks over to JP, still kind of coughing up, and he says, "We made it. Mr. G helped." And he just kind of like collapses on the deck, tired. He says, "Now what?"
Let's see if anyone's home, I guess. The JP clone will pick up Flora, and I'll keep holding Gideon.
Okay. What about Scratch? Yeah, what about Scratch? God.
All right, clone JP will carry Scratch and Flora. And then I'll carry Gideon. And then we'll go inside the boat.
Okay. Which direction in the boat? It's basically a large galleon.
Oh.
So imagine a large pirate galleon of some
What does
kind.
the deck of the ship look like?
It looks exactly like the deck of the ship in your dreams.
Oh, wait, we rented that boat. I was like, no, we came here in that boat. No, we rented it. Flo rented it, and I fucked the whole boat up. I mean, a kraken fucked the whole boat up. So are the sails rigged up or down? Is there any discerning features on the deck of the boat at all?
Everything is rigged into place. It's all just sort of, as if it's been parked here for a long time. There looks to be a little bit of rot on some of the ropes, and the sails have clearly not been unfurled for a very long time.
Yeah. So I guess if the JPs are carrying several people, Malcolm kind of looks around the boat, and you see like a confused or concerned possible face on him, and he like looks to the quarterdeck below the helm, and he kind of points and he says, "We can go in there." And he starts walking towards the double door on the quarterdeck.
I will follow.
And he opens the door.
As you open the door, you see the interior of the captain's cabin. And the captain's cabin is exactly as you imagine it in your dreams. So describe it to us.
So the captain's cabin, I assume everything looks a little bit waterlogged and moth-eaten, but it has lush red curtains. The back of the boat, the aft of the boat is windowed, and these curtains kind of cover this whole thing. And you can tell that most of the furniture was probably large and plush, and is bolted down in some manner to stop from sliding in the swaying ship. And there is a massive armoire right when you walk in the door to your left, and you can see the room is divided sectionally. Think Captain Hook's bedchamber, right? That's kind of essentially what this looks like. There's like a bed. You can see there's like a desk, a writing desk, a high-backed chair, and everything looks like it is relatively expensive, but like expensive in like an old world kind of way. Yeah, like almost antique looking. That's what it looks like. Muted.
And apparently I lagged out there too. Sorry about that. On top of that, seated in the chair is the skeleton, dressed in really finery garb. The costume, the garb itself reminds you of something. You're not quite sure because I don't think you've ever seen it face forward like this. But there's a skeleton sort of garbed in everything, and there's a hat on the table, and there's a bunch of things on the desk in front of him just sort of laid out, and there's a map, and there's an X on the map where X marks the spot. And
you said I recognize the garb?
You sort of recognize the garb, but I don't think you've ever seen it from the front.
Okay.
Right. And so the skeleton's just sort of there and kind of laid, hand on the table, blades sort of like dug into the desk, but the hand is sort of gripping the blade itself.
You see Malcolm looks like sad, and he points to the bed and he says, "You can probably put everyone down there, so you don't have to carry everyone."
JP will probably do that. Yeah.
Both JPs are going to put them down, Scratch and Flora?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, remember that time we met the scary crow lady? And
Yes.
the girl with the boy name?
Yes.
And the time that we went to the scary castle with the evil wizard, and then the time that we were on the boat, and then the time that the boat got crashed, the time that we punched the kraken? Remember that time?
Yes.
Well, remember that boat that one time?
Yes.
Ta-da!
All right.
We made it. This is the boat.
Well, that's good, right?
I don't know. I thought the boat was just a bad dream, and that the kraken was a bad dream, and then the kraken wasn't a bad dream, and then the boat's real. And that's a dead guy. For sure. And either it's just a dead guy, and that's gross, or it's a zombie. And that's probably bad.
It's not great.
No, I don't think either of them are really great. Why do all of our friends keep falling asleep?
Would Flora
I don't think Johnny heard you.
Flora does not wake up yet.
I guess you could leave one of you here?
To guard them.
Yeah, and then we can go walk around the boat and see how many other zombies we have to fight later.
Okay.
Okay. Because, I mean, there's zombie pirates, so I have to fight them, it looks like.
Well, hopefully we can avoid that.
I mean, I hope so, but... I mean, what else do you do with the zombies?
I don't know. I mean, I've never met any zombies.
Well... Okay, let's go. And he starts to head out of the... and you can tell that Malcolm's trying to put, like, a fun face on, but he is concerned as to why this boat's real. And he starts to walk out of the captain's quarters and towards the galley below.
As you begin to walk out, Flora wakes up.
She was just laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think she comes to and looks around. Does anything look familiar to her?
Oh, yeah. You happen to have a nice long conversation with a particular individual in this particular cabin.
Do you make
If
any
she
noise when you come
opens-
back?
What do you mean?
Like, do you just, like, wordlessly wake up like a vampire, or do you...
Yes.
Okay.
Do you do the whole, like, you're
No,
laying
but
back
her-
like this, and you just, like, sit up?
Yeah, she's a creep. And then she no, not really. She comes to and her hands are in the middle finger position, and she looks down and realizes that was a thing that happened, and then looks around. And is JP still in there, or has he left yet?
One of the JPs is.
One of the JPs is, and I'm sorry guys, I missed all that. I was lagging and roboting, so.
Is the one in the suit or the one like the JP I know?
Well, he's in the suit, I think.
I think she would go to tell you something and be like, "You're not JP," and then stand up and walk over to the cupboard, and she'll open it and see if that hat that she took is there. Is it there?
Mm-hmm. Along with a nice ornate bottle filled with some dark liquid that smells sweet.
She's gonna push past and leave out to go find JP, and if and when she finds him, she has a hat on, a bottle of liquor, and the picture frame.
Okay, you find JP and Malcolm heading towards the galley.
She yells after them to see if they'll stop.
What if she's a zombie?
I don't think she's a zombie.
Okay, how can you be sure?
Hey, Flora.
Are you a zombie?
I'm not any different than before I passed out.
Okay.
So, first of all, Scratch is in there playing cards for our souls and lives, and I disappeared.
No, he's
in
not. He's
there.
laying down.
No. I was in his dream. That's why I fainted. JP, listen to me, please.
I'm
One of us might get pulled in there.
Okay.
Also, I found this hat, and I found that. Remember, I told you about the hat when I left. When I left.
Yeah.
The captain, the hat. This is the same hat. This is the same boat.
Oh. Man.
Malcolm, do you recognize this? And she hands the picture of her.
Assuming you mean the boat, he says, yeah, no, I remember it's the boat from my dream all the time. And then you hand him the picture, and you see a very... Actually, man, have you seen that? I guess JP would see something flash over Malcolm's face that only JP has seen before. And Malcolm's complexion, not complexion, but his like appearance goes dark. And you see him look up at you, and he looks incredibly angry. And he looks at you and says, "How did you get this?
Do you remember the portal I went into in the park?
Did you steal this?
Listen, it was given to me.
Given to you from who? Did you steal it from my house?"
Listen, do you remember I went through the portal?
Yeah.
I went here.
You didn't go here.
Captain,
No one's alive here. The zombie pirates are here.
they were when I was in it.
When were you in it?
Malcolm, when we were in the park.
No, I know. But everyone's dead now, and they're skeletons. So they couldn't have been skeletons, or they were bad guy skeletons, and then you're making up stories and lies.
How else would I have that?
Because you stole it from my house.
Listen, Malcolm, I don't mean to be insensitive because I know who gave me this. And I know what happened to him, obviously. And I'm sorry.
But only I have this.
No.
You took this from my house. I have this.
I didn't, Malcolm.
There isn't there,
Okay.
but there's not two. There's only the one.
She looks over to JP and just sighs and just... I understand this is a touchy subject for you, but we've come all this way. I've been dragged all the way here. He's maybe gambling with our lives right now. And you think that I stole this from your house and waited till the exact moment I knew we were going to be on the same ship to show it to you.
Well, why did you, if you had it for so long, why didn't you show it to me then?
Because I knew it would upset you, or you would just ignore it.
But it would upset me.
You drag me off on adventures all the time, and you barely let me do anything to try and help. And
I didn't drag you on any adventure. You spit in a guy, and you caused a lot of trouble. And then you stole my picture of my dad.
you can believe whatever you want. And she just goes back to the cabin to watch Scratch.
And JP would just see Malcolm like slumps down into Indian style position, and he's looking at the picture. That's my dad.
But he wasn't there.
Don't think Flora stole it.
But then how did she get it? Only I have a picture.
Malcolm, lots of weird things happen around us.
Yeah, but
Think about everything that's happened just tonight, Malcolm.
who would give her the picture?
Maybe your dad.
But my dad in his boat sank.
Well, let's find out.
Well, my dad's boat got killed by the Kraken.
Maybe not.
That's what I was told. Everyone said it.
Well,
That's why I don't have a dad, JP.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that we might as well find out. We might as well take this to the logical conclusion.
I don't know what that means. And he kind of stands up and he sighs and walks. He starts walking back towards the captain's quarters, and opens the door. What does he see?
What you see inside is Flora just sitting there with Scratch.
He walks across and puts the picture, like he puts the kickstand out and puts it on the desk rather, facing like so that the dead body can see the picture. And he stands there for a minute and then turns to Flora and says, "I'm sorry I yelled at you. That picture is fake. I have the real one. You can't have the real one. So, let's go."
Malcolm,
Yes.
even if there only ever was one picture, I pulled it from somewhere. And the captain of this ship, your father, said your name before we split. I was being pulled away and I tried to take him with me to save him from what he said was inevitable. He said that it was bound to happen again and again. Like he was fighting that Kraken, who knows for how long.
Forever.
But I took the picture with me.
He fights it forever because it's not real.
But this is real. And she points at the picture.
I don't know. Sometimes I make believe and things become real,
I don't have that power, Malcolm, and you weren't there.
but I can't make believe people are real.
I think we need to figure out what's going on here. But we need to take this seriously. And she points at Scratch. If he can get me there and try to gamble with my soul when someone already owns it,
You say Scratch is
you guys aren't
sleeping?
safe. He's not sleeping.
No, but you said he was sleeping. You said it was a dream.
It seemed like it. I mean, I woke up and I'm back here.
So,
The problem is,
you know how I do stuff and you do gross stuff and JP does JP stuff? My friend also does stuff. Stuff when you're sleeping. So maybe if we can wake him up, we can wake up Mr. Scratch.
I'm thinking he's going through a similar thing right now if he drank from it.
Maybe.
And we can't wake Scratch up.
Yeah, but you know how like I make up believe stuff and it happens? Gideon makes up believe stuff and dreams and it happens.
Don't you think that if he could have gotten out, he would have by now? Think about how far we've come since we got here.
No, I know. That's why we're coming here to help him. I don't think he can get out, but he needs help to get out. But I think with him, we'll be able to help Mr. Scratch.
What are you proposing that we do exactly?
I was thinking we explore the boat, or we drink the juice, or we all just lay down and take a nap and see what happens.
I'm not taking a nap on this dirty pirate ship. No offense. And drinking it is not going to help. Promise.
Okay, then we explore the pirate ship and see what happens. Gideon came here for a reason.
We have to bring him with us, though.
Who?
She just points her arms at the two unconscious people on the ground.
But they're safe here. One of JP is going to watch them.
Do we really want to split up?
I mean, they almost drowned last time we tried to not split up.
Did Sarah, Barry, and Gus make it up here?
They finally made it onto the ship, yes.
I think once they've had a rest, she's going to try to lift Scratch onto Sarah, Barry, and Gus's back. Like how you would throw someone over a horse.
Yeah, but
Okay.
what if something bad happens again?
Wouldn't you want to be all together and know?
I mean, not if it almost kills us again.
What is us splitting up going to accomplish? Less of us die?
I guess so. I mean, we all tried to jump across, and Mr. Scratch fell inside, and then I got pulled under trying to save him, and then you got pulled under trying to save him, and then Sarah Barry and Gus got pulled under trying to save him, and then we were all in trouble. But if we leave Sarah Barry and Gus here, and we leave JP2 and JP3 here, then we can go, and they'll be safe. There'll be more people here to protect these sleeping people, and then we can go be safe heroes.
She looks over to JP and just waits for him to say something.
What do you want me to say?
You think we should split up? You think we should leave this alone?
Me?
No, she motions at the two unconscious people.
I'd prefer not to. But if I'm carrying them, yeah, well, I can bring them.
Gus can bring Scratch.
Okay. Then let's take them.
Okay.
And then she'll point to the clone and just point at Malcolm's friend and just, can you carry him?
Yep.
And
Picks him up.
so she'll put one on Sarah Barry and Gus, put Scratch on there, and then start to head out onto the main deck again. She's going to go back and grab the picture frame and give it to Malcolm.
Okay.
He would want you to have this. Keep it with you.
You give it to Malcolm?
Yeah.
He looks at you and says, but it's not real though.
It's more real than yours.
Doesn't make any sense.
She's going to take it from him and put it in her bag.
None of this makes any sense.
She's going to take a mean swig of whatever is in that bottle while she walks out.
It's embalming fluid.
She's used to it then.
Okay, so before we get too terribly far into the next element of this, I have one question for Malcolm.
No.
Dark Malcolm came out when you saw the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Flora giving you the picture after everything has happened. What does that mean for Malcolm now?
Malcolm was convinced that she stole it. So that was just like unbridled childhood rage, right?
That was Dark Malcolm.
Yeah, because
right?
he thought he knows that he has the only copy of that picture hidden in the hideout. And for her to have it, either it's fake or she stole it. But by talking to the adults, they persuaded him that it is some other thing, and he doesn't think she stole it. Or at least he's choosing to believe that she didn't steal it.
Okay, then do me a favor and add a story tag that counts as a positive to your character sheet.
Okay.
So you now have a +1 moving forward with this.
What is the tag?
What does that picture mean for Malcolm?
Fuck, man, I don't know. I mean, the fake picture or the real picture?
The real picture.
Less now, but I'm gonna call it memento.
Perfect.
Essentially, the tag that got the playbook that got burnt, or the theme book that got burnt when Malcolm unleashed full Dark Malcolm, was the "Where's My Dad" playbook, and I think this is like it's not like the fire has reignited, but like the candle has lit, right? So like he is remembering some of the things, but not enough to like pull back that theme.
So Gondor calls for aid.
Yeah, the candle is lit. Gondor whispers for aid.
Condor whispers. So that is. I mean, that's perfect. Memento is perfect. So now it counts as a positive story tag for you.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, Ryan, can I get some help?
So Flora takes a drink. Will you two stop whispering? Oh my god, I can fucking hear myself think. Jesus.
No. Sorry, Dad.
God. So Flora begins to take a drink. It tastes like rum.
Well, is it like good rum or like shitty rum?
It's not rock gut. I mean, but it's not like, fucking high class shit. It's the kind of rum you find on a pirate ship.
Is it aged better than what she had when she was on the ship?
Oh yeah.
It's the same.
It's aged better.
I think she would take a swig and just kind of make that stink face like she's thinking really hard and hold it over to JP. The last time I had this was a while ago. Try it. And she hands it over.
Tries it.
JP, what's your favorite drink?
I don't know. What is JP's favorite drink?
You strike me as like a fuzzy navel.
I thought he said a Tom Collins previously.
No,
He
that's
drank
scratch.
a gin and tonic one time. That's not like a liquor. You know what I mean?
No, but what is your favorite drink? I mean,
I feel like Sam's a Long Island iced tea guy. I mean, I'm sorry.
you mean JP's a Long Island iced tea guy?
Sure, Long Island iced tea.
Sam's a beer guy.
No, Sam's a juice box guy.
I am juice box guy.
That's fair.
If I drink too many juice boxes, the night goes crazy.
Juice box wasted.
That haircut screams juicy juice.
Guys, I don't want to know. I don't want to know anymore. I just don't want to know. Okay, so to JP, what it tastes like is it tastes like rum, but it gives you the feeling of your favorite drink. And as you're beginning to sort of consume it, yeah, it's dreamy. It just sort of, yeah, it's good, and it just kind of mellows you out. And for Flora, you're just starting to sort of feel really good and kind of floats, and you're feeling the need to lay down
On the flora?
on the floor. Fucking, we need a pun tax in this fucking game. I swear to God.
Listen, taking Alcrits is a fucking pun.
You get a -1 every time you make a pun. And you roll.
I've been holding them back all season. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Gosh. So, there's a pun tax. No, I'm just kidding. So, Flora, you're starting to feel really, really, kind of mellow, and you want to lay down. Malcolm, you see the two of them sort of take a swig off of this thing, and you see the effect that it's having is almost immediate.
What are you guys doing? Hello?
Your dad has good taste in rum. And then she's just out.
Well, that's not great. I'll try to catch Flora.
As you go down to sort of lean down to try to catch her, you gently just kind of carry her down, and all of a sudden you're feeling the effects of it as well. And you're beginning to slip into a nice deep slumber.
Can I try to, shake it off?
Sure.
All right.
This will be a face changer. What's going to apply here, JP?
Body like a mountain. And will of iron. And probably that's it.
Okay. So there's only going to be one story text for you, and that is going to be intoxication. It's a negative story tag.
All right. I will use my 2 juice that I have saved up.
Okay, just so you know, these juice will apply into whatever happens next. This will technically be counted as the same scene. Are you sure you want to resist what's about to happen?
Yes.
Didn't you have 2 juice that you waited to use, or is that scene over?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It's the same juice from that particular roll that he carried over.
Yeah.
Actually, I changed my mind. I will use an L crit.
Good luck with that.
So I want a 2, right?
I don't know. Do you want a 2?
Ha!
You wanted a 2.
Bless.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
All right, so you resist. And you don't fall asleep. You don't fall into a slumber. But you can't move.
I can't move.
You're immobile. You're sort of like you're paralyzed.
Can
But
I
you're
talk?
conscious. You can talk, but you barely.
I tell Malcolm, I can't move.
Why not?
I don't know.
What's dumb move? We have to go.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't? You move all the time.
Whatever is in that drink, I think.
Okay, well then pretend to be one of the other JPs and then let's move on. Let's go.
Can the other JP move?
The other JP can move just fine.
All right.
What does clone JP do?
Clone,
Or is that the real JP?
Clone JP is carrying 2 people.
He is carrying 2 people. What 2 people is he carrying?
Only 1.
No, he's got Gideon and Scratch.
Scratch is on Cereberry and Gus.
Oh, right. So I guess he'll pick up Flora.
Okay.
And then I'll try to get up.
All right. Face danger. No, sorry. Take a risk.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. So again, Will of Iron.
Mm-hmm.
Supernatural Strength.
Okay.
Body Like a Mountain.
Okay.
I think that's probably all I got.
Okay, the negative intoxicated story tag or intoxication story tag still applies, and there's another one that is paralyzed.
All right, I will spend my second L crit.
All right, that's perfectly fine.
Cool.
So you start to get up, but you feel incredibly woozy because the entire intoxication story tag still applies, but you are no longer paralyzed.
And
Malcolm,
then
you see him struggle to get up.
See, I told you just have to get up. Can't move. That's ridiculous. You move all the time.
yeah, you're right.
I just assumed you were going to roll too, so
I did.
I know.
Okay, so Flora, wake up! We have to go. He just shouts at her.
I'll just pick her up.
And that's where we'll cut to Flora fading back into the same room with Scratch as the third game is going on, and you hear a distant yell of your name being screamed by Malcolm. Scratch, cards are laid out in front of you for the third game. Flora's chip is now in front of you as it was before, but she's here. You see her fade in.
Back.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy out there. There's a pirate ship. There's a whole bunch of shit going on.
Oh no!
Found Malcolm's dead dad.
Oh well.
I would bet me. I'm already here. It's a freebie at that point.
Samuel starts to laugh. She clearly doesn't understand the rules of the game.
I don't even understand the rules of the game.
She's in my court. She's in my chip pile. She works for me. Even in your dream. See, you imagine me very powerful there, Scratch. Are you ready to bet?
What happens when I win?
Depends on what chips you have.
If I win, I assume I would have all of the chips.
We're only playing one at a time. Are you calling all in?
I feel like there is a fundamental misunderstanding on how you win the game.
It's very simple. And he goes into a long description of how you play Crazy Eights and how you win.
It's Uno.
I know how to play the game. I'm saying, what happens when I win everything? What's the end goal? Like, am I gonna get answers? Am I gonna figure this out? Because I'm not gonna lie, I am fucking lost and have no idea what I'm doing.
He kind of smiles at you. Scratch, this is your dream. Doesn't it seem a little funny that you imagine me and yet I call you Scratch? You're choosing that. The real Samuel, he calls you by your given name, or at least the one you chose for yourself when you became one of my boys. Or do you want to go back and be Terrence?
What a lame name.
Yeah, I know it's three names too. I mean, it's a three-worded name. It's kind of lame.
You hear
Claire,
a snort from the peanut gallery.
Claire and parents taught him real nice manners.
Well, I think
Someone got that.
I think I want to leave.
See, Scratch. Or would you prefer, since I made it very clear that this is all you, would you like me to call you Beauregard?
I would like you to call me a cab so I can get the hell out of here.
This is your dream. You can leave anytime. But there's clearly a reason that you're here, so you may want to figure it out.
I'm gonna bed Flora again.
Sure, Trip slides across. He looks at your bet. Not bad. Slides across 2 chips. First the boy, and then the lieutenant who he bet before. I'm sorry. Yes. Those 2.
Oh wait, you had the 4 chip, didn't you?
Yes, because I technically won in that round, and you imagined Flora back in your hand. Which is kind of a phrasing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
So now I gotta play. All right, I'm gonna JP again. Slide him over.
All
I
right.
was like, good call.
Yeah.
And he smirks and says, "All right, show your hand and roll it." Oh, you better roll better than a 1.
I hope I do.
Shit. All right, Scratch. He kind of chuckles and says, "It's bound to happen eventually. You had to win something." And he pushes the 4 chips back over to you. Flora, there's something that happens this time around. There's a slight change. You feel invigorated, as if you actually have real control in the world.
She's going to clench her fists as she kind of feels like a renewed sense of purpose in this shitty dream that's boring, and just jumps up and tries to punch him again.
To punch Samuel again?
Yeah.
All right. Hit him with all you got.
I don't think it's gonna do much. But...
Is this gonna end up being the last roll of the session? You just like blindly trying to hit the.
I cannot wait for what happens next.
So I'm gonna do Dead of Night. I'm gonna do Touch of the Underworld because she's not worried about her soul.
Okay. And just for the record, I'm really hoping you succeed here.
You know what?
Because I can't.
Okay.
What do you have an
No,
outbreak that you?
But I have the +1. So I'm gonna
All right. Well, hold on a second. I'm going to give you my outcrit. Do you want to use it?
Do it.
Let's. You just want me to get a 1.
Nope. No. I'm going to give you the outcrit. You can roll it if you want.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
If you want the outcrit, you can take it.
Fuck. Okay. What's the thing? /
Roll
R?
1d2.
1d2.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Trademarked outcrit.
Oh.
Cool.
right past.
We're 2 for 3. We're 2 for 3 tonight, folks.
Nope. Little different thing happens here because Flora is now empowered in the dream. It connects, goes right into his jaw, and Samuel goes teetering over and goes and falls right to the ground. At which point, Scratch, face danger.
Ow, crit. Everything is ow crits now, and it's a tense moment.
Can't hear you, Scratch. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-huh. Okay, face danger. All right.
Oh my God! Did you really just roll? Weren't you okay? Fine. All right. So it's a mild success.
Wait, was I not supposed to? You said.
I thought you were going to use your Al crit. I assumed that you were going to do that.
I already used an Al crit.
All right. Okay. So you feel this incredible tingling sensation just sort of permeate across your jaw in the same location that Flora kind of punched Samuel, and it just sort of spreads all across, right? But it's not like you almost feel like the bones want to break, but they don't. And so your face just sort of really tingles, and you can feel the pain, and you kind of reach up and go, ah. And as Samuel kind of lands on the ground, he's just kind of laying there. He starts laughing. It is your dream, after all.
Yeah, and I really wanted you to get hit in the face.
You're going to take a tier 1 status of bruised jaw.
I don't want to.
Good thing JP didn't punch you.
What are you trying to say?
I think that was clear what I was trying to say.
Note to self: spit in JP's face.
Scratch is gonna rub his face.
Now get off. We got another hand to play. But I want that chip right there.
He's gonna point to Gideon's shit.
You got to go all in, Scratch. You got to go all in.
I'd say I'm in pretty deep. Scratch is gonna grab his token and look at it. Is it the same on both sides?
Oh, yeah.
How about 1 for 1?
He's gonna throw his down.
God damn it, Zoom chat. He kind of looks at you and says, "That's not how this works, Samuel." Sorry, he's saying that's how this works, Scratch. It's all in or nothing at all. If you want the boy, he's not even my prized possession, but he does mean a lot, more than you know.
It's my dream. I feel like 1-for-1 is pretty high. See, I put down my most important chip, and that's me, because I am most important to me. Now I feel like that chip, that's probably most what I want. And I think you want to give it to me. I mean, through a fair betting game, of course.
These chips, he's gonna take the chips of everybody else. They don't mean shit. Just kind of throw them to the side of the table.
Flora, you feel a little bit of a stir as your chip sort of falls to the ground and sort of rolls. You feel uneasy for just a second, and you attribute it to possibly the rum.
And he's just gonna put his finger on his chip and slide it forward.
And as Samuel kind of sits down, rights itself, he says, "All right, Beauregard. That's right. You've given me the power now.
Or have I?
If I win, the dream never ends, and you become mine."
We shall see.
And he slides the chip with Gideon into the center of the table. You called the odds. You called the ante. You placed the bets. I call a new game. I call Indian poker.
Dun, dun,
And
dun!
And that's where we're going to end it.
Another game. Sam doesn't know how to play.
Another one.
What? You don't know how to play Indian poker?
Oh wait, is that the one where you hold it on your head?
That's why it's going to be so easy to play on fucking camera. It's going to be great.
God damn it.
Just you have to like cover Zoom.
Yeah, the whole purpose, you can't see your own card.
It's true.
Maybe people blindfold themselves and put it on.
Yeah, whoever's playing has to like cover their eyes while they do it and talk.
Yeah.
It's like go like this and like put the card.
Put a
right
blindfold so you don't have to hold it.
So everybody else gets to know but us.
here. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
That's
great.
This is
Or you,
shenanigans.
Jesus.
This is shenanigans.
But
Okay.
then, wait. If we're blindfolded, how are we going to see the other person's card? Because you have to see the other person's card.
So we go like this on our side of the screen, right? And we just go like this. So
No, just
and then
double
all
click
we have
on
to do
that.
is fucking watch the reaction of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys gotta put something on your screen so you can't see your own square.
Like a sticky note.
Like a sticky note.
Yeah.
So guys, that was episode 7, I believe, of 6/20 Metropolis Season 2 here on Team Lazarus. That was fun. I almost fought you, Flora. So let's go around and introduce our cast and crew. Get your thoughts on this episode. First of all, Al, thank you so much for the crits and for all of these gifted subs. Guys, let's get some shout outs to Al in the chat for being a dope ass rad guy. And let's jump around and just Al, you know. Let's jump around and introduce our cast and crew. We'll start with the lady I almost fought. Speaking of fucking, Miss Ginger Ninja, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what do you think of this episode? I'm going to keep it going from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, that's the
forgot
channel's
about
new
that.
tagline.
Yeah.
I'm Miss Ginger Ninja. I'm on Kiss channels on Saturdays and here every Wednesday. Today was a lot of fun. I was like 2 seconds away from just
Choking a bitch.
just leaving everyone and just leaving the water and just going on my own way and saying fuck it. But I decided better. But I'm excited for next week.
Sweet. Me too. Oh yeah, we can find you on your channel, right? I don't think you said that. You just said Kit's channel. That's fine. We can find you there too.
I stream sometimes.
All right, let's jump over.
Sort of.
So, just every once in a while. Let's jump over to Sam. Sam, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
I'm Sam, twitch.tv/WisnFool, Twitter @TheWisnFool. It was good. Yeah, things went well for JP today. Pretty well. I didn't fail any rolls really.
No, and you got two, and you quitted 2 Alcrids.
So that's good. I am still on Kelsey Delphi's channel on Tuesdays. I'm kind of wrapping up a bunch of different stuff because I'm going to kind of disappear from the internet for the month of August for moving and family, getting married, and good stuff, but chaotic stuff. So follow me, and I'll be around here till the end of the month, and then who knows? Probably sometime in September, I'll reappear on streams if people are willing to invite me on again.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. I forgot. Sorry, Sam. But speaking of fucking, Frags, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
You can catch me fucking on the corner. You can catch
on a couch.
I am KW Frags. I'm here.
Who?
Formerly the guy on the couch, as of next stream. So
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I have my own channel that I will want to do stuff on, maybe again, thing here coming up, and
Stuff and things and stuff.
Yeah,
you nailed it. You should absolutely get back into streaming. You're killing it right now.
Dude, I got home like 30 minutes before we started.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true. And speaking of fucking, Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
Video Store Cowboy everywhere except Twitter, where it's VidStore Cowboy. GM for 6&Twenty. You can see me tomorrow night over on Not So Speedruns. Blah 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 blah. Tonight's was interesting, not exactly the direction I was expecting, but you guys actually ended up in a more difficult position because Scratch lost a little, then he won a little, and then he got punched.
Yeah, speaking of fun.
And by the way, you can thank Trendane for the idea about the effect on the punch. I actually hadn't thought about doing it that way. I had a different thing that was going to happen, but it's actually kind of worked a lot better. So
I figured you kept saying that it was all me, and I figured once the punch connected, I was like, oh yeah, it's me.
I'm gonna get me punched.
You got punched. You got punched, bro. You got punched. So yeah, that was really awesome. Excellent storytelling the rest of the way, guys. Really love what happened between Flora and Malcolm. Actually, that exchange was really fucking cool. So yeah, it was a good time. Thanks.
Sweet. I also had a blast. I was actually looking forward to that exchange between Flora and I for a few episodes. I was waiting for her to actually show me the picture. I thought that was going to be cool. I expected it way sooner, but this was a cool place to have it, especially here. So much like what Sam said, I will also be gone for the majority of the month of August. But if you are going to Gen Con, come find me there. I'll make some nonsensical hashtag on Twitter like locate unmade. And you can find me. I'll be there the entire weekend. I have a panel on Thursday at, I want to say 1 p.m., but that is fully booked. So hover outside and say hi. I think we're also doing, there's a streamer meetup, so if you're a streamer, we're doing a meetup. You probably would have had the invite already. If not, shoot me a message. Tomorrow, our game has been completed. 2 years, 175 hours, and 58 episodes. We are done with Havoc in the Hinterland, so there is no stream tomorrow. I might get bored and stream something anyway. Then this Friday, I am going to be on Arvin Elron's channel doing some crazy spy games, so definitely come check that out. Me, Grimjack, Lindy, and I think Little Red Dot, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. But it's going to be a blast. We're going to be on Arvin Elron's channel. I believe that's at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Next Saturday is our 12-hour charity stream. It is the last Saturday in July, and it is our. It's going to be good. It's going to make up for whatever happened last month. It's going to be dope. I believe you'll be seeing some 6&Twenty back there. You'll be seeing some Black Void back there. You'll be seeing Bag of Snails is coming on for some shit. So it's going to be a good time. Definitely check that out. And we have several new shows coming out. I'll say that, and I'll say their names, and you can posit what you will. And we have Atari Twilight coming out on Mondays. We have The North Seat coming out on Tuesdays. And we have a new show called Island in the Sky coming out on Thursdays. So definitely check those out. There are new rooms in our Discord you can check out and figure out what that's all about. And yeah, it's gonna be fun times. It's gonna be fun times as we release more information over the coming weeks about those things. And with that, we're gonna go raid our friend Arvin Elron, who, as I said, I'll be on his channel tomorrow. So definitely go check those guys out. I believe they're playing the R Vocalists, where they are voice acting through a game. If I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what they do. And with that, guys, from all to you, bye bye.